Most couples think intimacy fades because of big problems, but more often it fades because of small moments that go unnoticed. Love isn't usually lost in betrayal or conflict. It's lost in missed chances, ignored bids, and tiny moments where connection could have happened, but it didn't. Today, we're talking about micro moments of love, why the smallest interactions matter more than grand gestures, and how connection is built quietly every single day. If you've ever found yourself thinking, why do we keep having the same argument? Or why does connection feel harder than it used to? You're not alone. Welcome to Marriage, Intimacy and Healing with Andrew and Lara.
We're a husband and wife team, blending science-based coaching and clinical nervous system insight to help couples understand what's really happening underneath conflict, distance, and emotional shutdown.
I'm Lara. I'm an ICF PCC-certified coach and educator.
And I'm Andrew, a licensed physical therapist specializing in body, mind, heart integration with extensive experience helping high-performing individuals navigate stress, communication, and emotional regulation.
Together, we help you recognize the patterns that pull you apart and offer practical, grounded shifts that bring you back into connection. Let's dive into today's episode. A lot of couples wait for date nights, deep talks, when life slows down. That's really big for you and I. When life slows down, it doesn't slow down.
It's like the grass is greener comment. Like, is it ever going to be greener? You know?
That's right. But safety's built between these moments of life and how big life can be, particularly when you're parenting as well and you have that. But intimacy isn't built in the highlight reels of your marriage. Even though those things are beautiful, we love them, it's actually built in passing everyday moments, just going past each other, good morning, good night, those sorts of things is where you build the intimacy. It's noticing and building in those moments matter more than these big things. Now, if you're listening, you'll know that lately I've been saying a lot, this week. But we are in a life stage where we are in it. So this is the perfect time to be talking to you guys about marriage, because it's not like this happened ages ago. It's not like it has never happened. Right now, we are juggling all the things that many of you are going through as well. We have our children. We don't have family in America with us. So we have to do these things, the load on our life. So life is really busy.
And pressure, a little less practical help.
Yes.
And those times when the grandparents can grab the kids.
We don't have those.
Have a breath, even just 3 hours of a breath, but none of that.
And I don't think we've had a weekend away, and we see our friends do that and their parents come to town. I don't think we've had that in years, at least 5 years or something like that, which would be so lovely. So some of you recognize that, but this is why the conversation should really resonate in that those are big, beautiful moments. And I think they really do help you connect more.
Hugely.
But what happens in everyday life? That's us right now. Everyday life, doing our best to stay connected. And Andrew just worked 2 weeks straight because he had a weekend away in the middle of it. And at the end of that, I think I felt really disconnected from you purely because of the load that life brought.
Yeah, no, we understand that a lot of you will feel different when we've got extra work or whatever else. It might not be such a disconnector. I am personally, different to Lara in that, but we're a team. She's the love of my life. And so if she's feeling that, all together, just that's your fault, Andrew, that's the thing you've chosen to do. But it was just more that we have to manage that together. And we have to rebuild something, and we need to, and life's awesome, and life it quickly can shift to be better, right? But we need to appreciate that rather than just push on, shove it down, right? And just try and find some way around it.
So for a lot of you in your marriage, there's not one big crisis. I recognize some of you are going through crisis, and I feel for you, and I'm here for that journey too. But for many of us, it's just drift. Andrew and I are coming up 20 years, been together for 22 or something like that, 23. But we've been together a long time. We have children, and it's so easy for drift to naturally happen unless you start to recognize the symptoms of it and start to build in and notice the bids for connection with each other. So do you want to share with us a little bit what drift looks like physically before we even notice it, maybe emotionally?
Well, drift would just be that you look up and notice any other person's face or countenance or the reaction to me walking in the room. And that really lights me up when Lara notices me and just wants to hug or whatever. But if she's busy, we're both busy, and there's a few other things that we've got to talk about and it's just more pressure, then there's less of that quick reaction because we see each other and we're like, oh, things to do or something. So it might be, I'm just giving you examples. So there might be less of that reaction in the room. There might be less of that electric sort of look in your eye. So there might be a shift in that and you're like, I don't want that. You know, she lights my life up, always does. There might be less eye contact, I guess, like I'm talking about. You might find that your drift is that, oh, we go in the kitchen, we always tend to just hold hands, or we tend to, you know, do a little cuddle, and she's quickly running off around the room, and it just detracts. It's little drift things.
Touch disappears,
Yeah. There may be a pressure on your shoulders internally because you just feel like there's another weight on my shoulders here.
Little things like you haven't looked at your spouse in the eye for the whole week because you're so busy getting on with life. And that's where I think it's really important to lean in and go, if we continue like this, what does it look like in 5 years, even a year from now? Because that's when the drift has been so long. So catch yourself, and you can change this story for your marriage, and you can change this narrative. Yeah,
you said something good of you might be in a big escalation in your marriage in a negative way. You said crisis mode, right? But crisis can be in that place of crisis because of many, many, many drift moments. And they might be compounding. And the initial thought would be, how am I going to get over the years of that, Andrew? But that's not going to be one big kerfuffle that it just can shift all out of that, even though that happens, and be open to it. Keep working at rebuilding, but it's many, many moments of rebuilding, isn't it?
It's so important to notice the bids for connection. A bid, for example, because I'm leaning into this space and aware of these things, last night I went into my son's room. It had been a really busy day and he was just sitting there building his birthday Lego. And I'd been with him all day, but we hadn't really connected because he had a birthday party and he was with his friends and we hadn't had eye contact. And I say this because it's a good example of what can happen between you and your spouse as well. And he just goes, look at this, Mum, this Lego thing, da-da-da. That to me is a bid for connection. So rather than quickly leave the room because he's doing his Lego and he's happy, I sat on his bed, actually laid down for a minute, and I just watched him and went, he's just with that one sentence actually connecting with me, and I'm not going to miss this moment. So when you start to tune into that with your spouse, it might be something really little that they do that you wouldn't normally notice, but it's actually a bid for connection. It's a heart cry saying, hey, do you see me? Can we connect? And sometimes your spouse isn't sitting there going, I actually thought that was going to be more than that. But when you go, oh, they held my hand, or they gave me a little hug, or they've made me a coffee, those things can be little bids for connection. Missed bids don't cause fights all the time. They could, but it's not really what they do. What they do cause is distance in your marriage when you never notice these little bids for connection. So I want to challenge the belief, if you're in it, that if it mattered, it would be obvious in our marriage, because what matters most in your marriage is usually quiet. It's usually not a big thing. It's usually not loud, and our bodies are constantly tracking these moments. Even when we haven't emotionally noticed, our body is tracking it.
Yeah, your body keeps the score and your body will feel it. So if you do feel a perpetual nature of, oh, I just can't take a breath, your body's going to be in some degree of hyperdrive or some degree of fight and flight. So there's a response to pain in that way. And our body, this has been well researched, our body responds like it does in chronic pain to when it does in emotional pain. So even if, this is a good example, I'm getting more aware of this. Lara has a bid, she has something she wants to tell me about the Creative Restoration International work we're doing, and that she's done a whole lot of back-end work that whole day. I come back and then she says, honey, I've got this. And then my reaction would be, I get a text and I look at my phone. It's 10 seconds. It's not the end of the world. I'll definitely patch it up and say, honey, thanks for letting me do that. I want to see it now. I patched it up. That's fine. But it's one little bit. And if I just go off in it and don't explain, there's this sense he's like, oh, like he's not interested. And I am. And she knows I am. But there's this moment where she's like, ugh, like I reached out and he said no.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest things to watch, and we went this week to a talk about it, was that phones are actually one of the biggest reasons that we're missing bids for connection with our family.
That's true.
More than we realize. Yeah. It's when you're sat there as a parent and you're on your mobile phone or your cell phone during the family movie time. And you might not realize it, but your children are clocking that, your spouse is clocking it. So we've started getting really radical in our home about it, and I now separate physically myself from my phone. Yeah. I put it in the other room so that I am fully present, because I want to model that behavior to my kids so that they don't then give it back to me.
Yeah. Probably some people listening is like, that's not that hard, but it's a little thing that you don't notice is happening.
You don't notice it. It's like where you're scrolling on your phone at night in your bed and your spouse gets in and it actually stopped a conversation that you could have had at the end of the day.
And that's pretty normal.
And it's just normal. We don't even notice that we're doing it half the time. So little tools just to take away with you. Notice the bids and try hard to protect them, fight for them. Respond with something little. Try and give something back. It's like they've made an offer with that bid. Accept the offer and add a little something back. It's not about perfection. It's about presence, quick micro moments of presence. And it works because being noticed, being seen strengthens attachment.
I want to talk about the nervous system. The nervous system learns through safety, not through threat. So when we're in a place of threat, we won't so much learn, we will know that there's a consequence that we want to avoid. And so it's very much reacting like such. So safety is the important thing. When I'm treating someone in lots of chronic pain, they will learn in their body how to manage their muscles better, get stronger, etc. Again, through safety and some progress or less pain. It's definitely a consistency thing, if we get that consistently, but there's a place of soothing. So we need to find some place of soothing. So a tool you could use is that just, I want to bring connection to us, even though I know that some disconnect has happened, or I want to get a micro moment where I can shift to connection. So that could just be to notice the bids and put your hand on hand. So she sees physically, oh, he's with me. It's great. It could be that brief touch. It could be softening your tone. So you're noticing, I'm ramped up because there's lots of things on and I want to share something, but let's just soften it. And it can shift towards, I'm listening, rather than I want to take over and do my thing. Or just some small reset so that you can find that place of connection about what you're talking about. And something else important to me is that I get time in the day for me. So you might be related to this and find that's important. But if I shift my day to connect to her quickly about something, and then a kid grabs me, and the afternoon can end up being less about me and a lot about other people. So if I just reset myself for even a few seconds to know that, okay, I'm doing this now. I want to go outside to see the sunset and spend my 10 minutes, and I'm going to do that. And you give yourself still that moment that you want to do it. So you're giving yourself and you're giving yourself a quick reset. And I tell myself that's important to do, and you're going to do it. So it gives me some focus on now and focus on what's happening around me, that I'm still important.
I think that's so, so beautiful. You really are creating your home mood and environment every week, and you can look forward and think, what do I want to create? It's not a question we ask, what do I want my home to feel like? Do I want it to feel like we're just in task mode, get it done, get out the door, routine? Or do we want to create a house that's full of laughter, family nights, marriage connection, painting, drawing, dancing to silly songs, fun games? Like, what do we want to have in our marriage and our home? And how can we add things in so that we are really connecting and making a beautiful environment? This is creating meaning and memory, and it's so important.
Yeah. And I might understand that you might feel that life is hectic and you have to do a lot. You have to get a lot done.
Yeah.
And we do, and we're very busy. And you might be very busy and then it can shift quickly towards feeling like, oh, I have to do this. So the reframe I heard many years ago is change I have to I get to do this, and you get more appreciative for the thing. But I know that it's still busy, it's still draining and all of that. So if there's some intentionality towards how can I, amongst all of this, how can I still create fun and give energy that I have towards a fun household and shifting that. It's just cool because you can either just go with your baggage and just everyone's in that sort of like, oh, that's hard, towards, okay, it is hard and I'm just going to have some fun now.
Yeah.
I need that more.
We've been doing that lately really intentionally, making our FFG nights, fun family game nights, a priority. We often come to them Friday night exhausted, tired, disconnected, and we leave laughing, connected, having fun. Yeah. This is how we create meaning, memory, and change the whole atmosphere of our home. So it's so important because love isn't missing. It's usually not missing. I mean, obviously, in some cases it might be, but generally speaking, those of you listening, love isn't missing. It's waiting to be responded to. It's waiting to be nurtured. It exists. It just needs a tiny little step towards it. So ask yourself, what small moments are we overlooking every day, every minute, every hour that we don't need to be? Even taking one step into noticing one moment a day is going to be so transformative. Making one thing in your week for your marriage or your family is going to be so transformative for your home.
Well, it's important because these little moments aren't so much just trying to chip away at a wall. Love is like fire, guys, when you really awaken it. And that's what I can see for all marriages when it's hard, when it's difficult, thinking this isn't fire. It just needs to be awakened. So let an ember become a spark and that quickly becomes a fire. So just make these little moments towards something that can really fan into flame something amazing.
Thank you for being here. Share this with a friend that you know needs the support. We are here to support your marriage, your friend's marriage. Share, like, subscribe so that we can help as many marriages and families and children through the work of the marriage getting better to have their best life and their best parents in their best connection. And if this kind of work is meaningful to you, head to creativerestorationinternational.com where you can consider becoming a monthly supporter and support a marriage. Support marriages through financially donating there. And if you would like more support, you can go to andrewandlara.com to get our free download, the 3-minute BMH Body, Mind, Heart Reset that you can print out for free and stick on your fridge. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us on today's Marriage, Intimacy and Healing. If this episode supported you, we'd love for you to download our free 3-minute BMH Marriage Reset at andrewandlara.com. It's the quickest way to shift out of stress and back into connection. And for deeper support and to explore our resources and coaching, you can find everything at andrewandlara.com.
Before you go, following the show or sharing this episode with another couple really helps more people find this kind of support. And we're so grateful when you do.
We're Andrew and Lara, and we'll see you next week.